Hi guys, this is Aegis, and I've got here the first game between mBn and their opponent XPN over here. And over here I do have only Toss spawning as the Protoss player for XPN. And in the other corner is the blue Protoss player SLC playing for mBn. We're going to go ahead and pull up the names tab over here. And we're going to see that both players are not going to be cheesing anytime soon. Looks like both of these players have decided to build everything within their own base. Of course, we're going to see a pylon from both players real soon. And it looks like SLC is opting to build a early 10th probe rather than getting that little pylon over there, so we'll see what he decides to do with that. Maybe he'll go 11 gateway. We won't know until that pylon finishes up, so we're gonna see what happens over here. Only Toss now producing additional probes, probably laying down the chrono boost as well. So we've got Only Toss here, and we do have SLC throwing down his early gateway. That is an 11 gate, so he will be rushing those zealots. We'll see if he decides to go for another gateway. He is now chrono boosting some more workers, so we'll see what he decides to do with that early gateway. Maybe go for that Zealot rush, or decide to go for a really fast Cybernetics core to throw his opponent off. It does look like scout probes are out on the field for both players right now. SLC is going to be scouting in the wrong direction. We'll see if he notices the other probe. No. Oh, yes, he does. So if he did see that, he would have been able to change direction. Only Toss is, I think, headed in the right direction. Headed to the bottom left-hand corner where SLC is spawning for mBn. This is the American Pro League APL, and this is week 1. We'll see if which team is able to come up on top. Of course, this is not elimination here. The winning teams from week 1 do get to play the each other, and then the winning teams from week 2 will finally advance. And then week 3 will determine other teams that do advance into the next round, the round of 16 in the APL. And it does look like we have a gas steal from SLC. Gonna be grabbing that gas over here. We'll see if Only Toss decides to respond with a gas steal as well. We do have the Cybernetics core out now, and no early Zealot rush. It does look like we do have an early chrono boost down on that gateway, and this pylon is going to be losing some shields here, and as soon as that gets down to the health range, we should be seeing SLC pull someone to be able to do something against that probe who is trying to work down on that pylon right now. Going to be grabbing that assimilator, and it is headed over here with a Zealot. So it does look like there is a Stalker out on the field for SLC. The probe from Only Toss is going to be spotting over here, and that first Zealot is headed up the ramp, but that Stalker should be able to stop that Zealot if microed properly. Well, you're going to see that Stalker take some damage right now. Hopefully he does micro, and he does take some hull damage. And that Zealot is going to start going after those probes right now, and not much of control from Only Toss right now. He's going to be taking down probably that one Stalker. That Stalker is desperately trying to get away right now, and that Zealot with 19 HP is chasing after that Stalker over there. The Stalker does survive with just 10 HP. Another Zealot is coming up right now, and it does look like SLC is going to take a couple of shots at his own assimilator there, and that probe does get picked off, and a couple of probes do get pulled to deal with that first Zealot. That does cause him to lose some mining time, and over here Only Toss does have his Stalker finally going to be cleaning up SLC's assimilator. He does have the Warp Gate research now finishing up, both players finishing that up basically at the same time. So the early cyber core over here from SLC didn't actually get him his warp gates all that early. He does have 3 warp gates out on the field right now, and we're probably gonna see him expand. He does have stored up 500 minerals right now. We'll see what he decides to do with that. Over here, Only Toss opening up 2 of the gateways, not the 3rd. Maybe he does want to use that as a normal gateway. We'll see what he decides to do with that. And Only Toss now cleaning up. Finally, the assimilator is going to be going down real soon, and going to be grabbing the second gas over here for SLC as soon as it goes down to be able to get those gas-heavy units. A robotics facility on the way for SLC. He could have gotten this a lot earlier. So I don't really like his storing of that many minerals, And over here, Only Toss going to be parking at the top of his ramp, also getting his own robotics facility, is going to be finishing up way ahead of his opponent's robotics facility. Second assimilator is also finishing up as well. Dude, fine. I don't remember what we were talking about. We're going to go ahead and set a busy for the moment, and we're going to go ahead and check those questions later. We are 7 minutes into this game, and we're going to be starting the matches today in just about 10 minutes. We do have 2 casters lined up for today's matches. Go ahead and check out our post on the website at mocktechcorp.net/APL. Go ahead and check those streams out when they do come live today. And there is one crabby fellow going to be headed to the front for Only Toss. An observer for SLC is going to be headed out across the map as well. SLC has pulled ahead in terms of supply. Not much else going on for both players. We do have a robotics bay on the way for SLC, so he will be able to get those Colossus. We also do have 3 more Zealots warping and going to be spending as much of those minerals as possible while trying to get those Colossus up. And it does look like Only Toss is headed for those Colossi as well. 2 Immortals popping out though, so it does look like he is a little bit worried about that early attack, but not sure. And the observer for SLC is going to be scooting in here and going to be checking everything out. Both players going to be seeing those Colossus real soon. First Colossus is on the way for SLC right now. We'll see if he decides to push with 2 Colossus, or if he decides to use that firepower to secure himself a second base. No more probes being produced for SLC, so he's going to be using all of his money for those units, so he may not be planning for any sort of a long-term play at all. Extended thermal lance is on the way for SLC. Only Toss, only now getting his first Colossus. This is about halfway complete. He does have a probe over here for SLC, so it looks like he will be trying to secure that expansion with the Colossus out on the field, and the expansion does go down for SLC. And Only Toss, not quite ready to secure his own expansion, is getting his first Colossus out. Not quite enough money to get his extended thermal lance just yet. We'll see if he decides to push with his force right now. He does have 2 of those very hard-hitting units. Those Immortals will be able to do tons of damage if used correctly. Nexus is now on the way for Only Toss at this bottom right-hand position. He is going to be hiding this expansion, is also going to be throwing down double gas right away. However, this not so hidden expansion from SLC will be up a lot sooner and will be able to get saturated a lot quicker due to the close proximity. An observer is headed out for Only Toss, going to be checking out what his opponent is up to. Extended thermal lance is also on the way for Only Toss. He is continuing to make those probes. It does transfer a couple of probes right now. We'll see if that observer catches it. And I accidentally hit the back button. It does happen. That observer is going to be checking for an expansion, and we'll see if it does see the probe transfer, which is coming out right now. SLC is going to move his observer towards the ramp, and it does see those probes, so he will be notified of that expansion, and the observer does notice, so he will be able to scout for that hidden expansion. Probes are scooting out across the map, and this one observer is going to be headed straight into SLC's base, and a couple of probes are also transferring over here as well. Additional probes getting created, and the +1 ground weapons on the way for Only Toss, so he will be able to get that +1 advantage. I wonder if that observer has made its way over there yet. Not quite, but it will be scouting this out real soon, and he will be able to mount an attack against that. Is headed a couple of zealots out across the field, and maybe park his army in the center to threaten the main of Only Toss if he does decide to go out and defend his new expansion. The 2 Colossus are headed out over here. We'll see if Only Toss decides to throw down another expansion. He does have a second robotics bay on the robotics facility on the way, so he will be able to get that double production of Colossus up real soon. The 2 Zealots are headed into Only Toss's hidden expansion, or it's not so hidden anymore. Those Zealots will be able to do tons of damage against the probes that are mining here. Most of them are on the gas, And that first Zal is going to be coming in here and doing some damage. These two Zals only need to kill a couple of probes or just deny mining here, and he will be able to do plenty of damage to OnlyToss. And it does look like he's heading out with his main army. 3 Colossi out in the mix for SLC, and only 2 for OnlyToss. He does have those 2 very hard-hitting Immortals, so we'll see if he's able to defend his next base over here. The 2 Zal's going to be trying to take down that expansion nice and easy. And OnlyToss not quite comfortable with moving out across the map right now, and it does look like SLC has poked in there with his 1 observer, and it does notice that there are 3 Colossi, and it does look like the 3 Colossi are going to be headed out here, and they are going to be forced to back up. I wonder if those Colossi are going to get picked off, and no, they do not. Additional units getting warped in at those 2 proxy pylons right now. OnlyToss has a good look of what's going on, so he is going to be trying to chrono boost as many units as possible. However, he is supply blocked, so that does deny him the ability to make any additional units, and the Colossi are well spread out for OnlyToss. But look at the Zealot count, going to be rushing in there, drawing all the fire of the Colossus, and it does look like the Zealots even make it up there to the Colossi, and all that's left for OnlyToss are those few Colossi and a couple of ground units. And it does look like SLC's 4 Colossi are going to be able to clean this up very easily. Additional warp-ins should be on the way as well. And OnlyToss has fallen to 58 supply. It's Colossi versus Stalkers. Not such a great position to be in. A probe going to be returning over here. The Zealots did manage to clean up that expansion. And over here, OnlyToss is desperately trying to get more units out on the field. More Colossi on the way. Double Colossus production. SLC not spending his money as well as he could be. The Manor Gateways out in the middle of the field, and it does look like OnlyToss will be falling to SLC shortly. A couple of Zealots out in the field for OnlyToss, but that is just cannon fodder for those few Colossi out here, and the Zealots are going to be advancing forward, and a couple more Stalkers joining the fray as well. It will soon be GG for OnlyToss. He's just hanging there in there as long as possible for his team. XPN and one of the Colossi over here taking serious damage, but not quite going down. 2 Colossi out in the field. Despite the +1 upgrade, it's just not enough to take down the mass numbers of Colossi from SLC. GG calls OnlyToss, and does look like mBn has taken game 1.